Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to another Compliance Over Coffee. Tony was threatening to sing to us this morning. Add Christmas songs of all things. I said absolutely not. I didn't think that all of you would appreciate that. Anyway, welcome to another Compliance Over Coffee. And this morning the topic is, have you considered collapse fees? Now some of you won't have a clue what I'm talking about. Others of you might know. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background as to why we're talking about this today. One of my roles under the National Association, for me, as part of the NAPSA team, is to assess all of the compliance-related documents, of which, of course, is a contract securing the buyer, terms of business agreement, whatever you want to call it. And our contract, our personal contract, has a collapse fee in for very, very good reason. So when I read other people's contracts, those that haven't bought from us, who aren't using our contract as a baseline, and there are a lot of them that aren't, and that's absolutely fine, I give them feedback, not legal advice, but feedback from 11 plus years experience of writing these things and understanding the sector as to where they might be missing out on some aspects. And one of these things that I've spotted is the lack of collapse fees. So what is a collapse fee? A collapse fee is when you have secured your investor, they've signed your terms of business agreement, they've said they want the deal, it's progressing through with the solicitors, but for some reason, and for no good reason is the terminology that we use, that buyer pulls out of the purchase. Now, if you're paid your fee upon exchange and completion and the buyer pulls out, your fee goes to the wind, unless you have a collapse fee. We'll talk about taking fees up front in a moment. So, the collapse fee covers you if the buyer pulls out for no good reason. Now, our collapse fee is set at £350. And a lot of people say, well, why can't I charge a collapse fee of my full sourcing fee? And the answer for that links in with the answer for having taken the fee up front and saying, I'm not refunding it because it covers my costs to date. It has to be considered to be fair. And you have to hand on heart say, that's fair for the level of work that I've done to get it to this point. Not only hand on heart, but if that person makes a complaint to a redress scheme that you're registered with, that you've withheld a fee and they believe that it was unfair of you to do so, you have to be able to prove the level of work that you've done to warrant that level of withholding a fee or that level of collapse fee that you're claiming. So the collapse fee idea is great and it covers you if your buyer pulls out for no good reason, but you have to hand on heart be able to say that it's fair and be able to show the level of work you've done to warrant that level of collapse fee. So that's what the collapse fee does within the contract. Now, a lot of you will say, well, I take my full sourcing fee up front, or I take a large deposit, a reservation fee up front. You may say it's refundable or not, but the problem that you've got is if your buyer pulls out for no good reason and then you say, I'm not refunding it because you've pulled out and you should have bought it, there was nothing wrong with it, you then have to justify withholding the whole fee. Now, I have known where redress schemes have made awards of, in one case, up to £3,000 as an award to the investor against the sourcer because, one, the reason for withholding the fee wasn't clear, the reason for holding the fee wasn't clear, and any refund and under what circumstances wasn't made clear. So contracts have to be clear and fair, but also fair for you as a sourcing agent as well. And that is what the collapse fee does. Now, not everyone that I've come across who hasn't had our contracts in place has had a collapse fee within the terms of business agreement. And I always point out, if this situation happens, you would have no comeback. Just to make them aware. And the guidance as to the sort of wording that we have in ours around the coverage of this collapse fee. The reason that I've talked to you about this today is if you're interested in terms of business agreement, if you're interested in securing your investor and doing it in the most professional way, I'm running a free webinar a week today, next Thursday, the 20th, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. on securing your investor. The series of webinars is called Future-Proofing Your Sourcing Business, and next Thursday's is on the terms of business agreements or the contract for the investor. And we go into it in this level of depth that I've just talked to you about, one aspect of the contract. If you're interested in hearing more and listening, there's no upsell, there's no course for me to sell you. Yes, in the middle of it, I'll be telling you about the courses that we run and how they might be able to help you. I'll also be telling you a little bit about how NAPSA might be able to help you. But it's pure driven content at this level that I've just talked to you about this morning. I don't charge for this level of content. Tony will bob in the link for you to be able to register for the webinar. It's completely free of charge. You register through Eventbrite and the webinar is on Zoom. There will be no recording available if you can't make it. I'm sorry, the event is recorded, but purely for our training purposes and marketing, and it will be split up. It isn't going to be shared out for those of you that can't attend. So it's for attendees to watch in full only. There will be an option at the end for a live Q&A. If you have a look at the event in our Facebook group, there is also a chat attached to Webinar 1, where people are putting in other topics that they would like me to cover in other or future-proof your webinars, and also adding questions in that they would like answered during next Thursday's webinar. That's it for compliance over coffee this morning. And thanks, Matt. We're all very well here. Thank you for asking. We're all well. Hope you are too. I'll be back again with you next Thursday morning at the usual time, 8:30, for another compliance over coffee. In the meantime, hopefully a few of you will sign up for the event next Thursday. We can take 100 people, and I think we're fast approaching 70 registered at this moment in time. So if you're interested in getting a registration place, then please register as soon as possible. In the meantime, have a fabulous weekend. I hope the sun comes out where you are, and I'll see you again in the group next week. Bye for now.